Hey, hi, how's it going? We're going to be planting petunias today. I think this is going to be the last big petunia planting today. Well, for the spring. I mean, I'm not going to say it's like 100% the last. We both know that there's a chance that I buy more petunias. But as of now, I've got a few petunias left, but I don't have like a lot of petunia planting to do. For the most part, a good chunk of my petunia planting is done. I've got like 3 of one, maybe 3 of another. I think I have like 5 of the one variety, but I've got a ton of them that we're gonna get planted right now, today. Let me show you what we're doing. So these don't, they don't look super full and lush right now. That's okay. They're going to look full and lush. This one here is the Superunia Vista Bubblegum. This one is a workhorse in the garden. If you want a petunia that like just works and works and works and works, this is the one to grow. I paid $11.99 per plant on these. That was rough. I've paid that price before, but it's always rough every time I pay that price. But the blooms on them are absolutely stunning. Let me show you what the tag looks like so you can get a better idea. If you've never grown this one before, this is the one to grow. So I love petunias. I grow a lot of petunias. They're just workhorses in the garden. You put them in the ground and they start blooming, and then they don't stop blooming until a frost takes them. They're amazing. This one right here gets 12 to 24 inches wide. And they definitely get about 2 feet wide. Almost always get 2 feet wide, actually. And then being in a zone 9A, sometimes I can winter over my petunias, which is really nice. So like during the winter, what I can do is I can come in and I can cut them back really, really hard. And if we have days that are going to hit 32 degrees, I'll come in and I'll cover them. And then usually I can get a second year out of them. I don't always do that. Sometimes I do that, but I can't go 3 years on them. They just get way too tired after year 3. I've tried it before. 2 years is the max, and honestly, by the end of the season on year 2, they're looking a little rough. The other one that we're going to grow is one that I've never grown before. Look at this crazy color. It's very, very, very vibrant blue on camera. It's more like a purple blue in person. This is the Superunia Blue Tiara. Never grown this one before. There's Blue Tiara, and I think there's Pink Tiara also. I just picked these up, and I feel like I got such a good deal on these. They were $6.98 a piece, so $7. Look at this. This is one petunia. Isn't that stunning? I'm so excited to grow these. I've never grown these before. So this isn't a Vista or anything like that. This is just Superunia Blue Tiara. Let me show you. So see that tag? See how that tag looks a little more purple? Then that's more what they look like in real life. I don't know why this is like electric blue. This is crazy blue. But I love the white on it. I love the how it variegates out to this blue purple color. It is so much fun. It's really a cool petunia, and I'm really excited to grow this one. But this one only gets 4 to 12 inches, so not super big on this one. But I have a feeling that that's not right. So it says 4 to 12 inches here, and then if you look at the back of the tag, it says the minimum spacing is 12 inches and maximum spacing is 24 inches. So I have a feeling that they're gonna get somewhere between 12 and 24 inches. And I was looking at the bubblegum, and it says anywhere from 18 to 32 inches. And I feel like they get closer to the 32 inch. I always this one says 12 to 24 inches. Mine never stay at 12 inches, and they regularly hit that 24 inch. So they're just probably trying to keep it safe for those people with a very short growing season. My growing season is starts a month ago and ends in November. So that's probably why we hit that 36 inch. Anyways, we're gonna get both of these planted. Both of these are very, very, very heavy feeders. So I'm gonna go in with slow release fertilizer on them. And I plan to use a good scoop full of fertilizer per petunia on these. And then these are also going to get sprayed with, if you're watching all my videos, you're probably so annoyed with this little spiel, and I'm so sorry. But if you're new here, I'm going in every single week in order to continue to get blooms like this. I'll be going in every single week with liquid fertilizer, water-soluble fertilizer. You can mix it in a watering can. You can buy an attachment. Just follow the directions on the back. And then just give everybody some water. We have this little attachment thing, and then we attach it to our hose, and we just kind of go through and spray everybody and give everybody just like you're watering everybody. They haven't had a drink of water that day. We do that every Friday. We call it Fertilizer Fridays. That way we remember to do it. And then we also spray BT because we deal with budworm, which are just little tiny caterpillars. They're green little caterpillars, but they sometimes will change colors depending on the flowers that they're eating. They're those white butterflies that you see, or white moths that you see. I don't know if they're butterflies or moths. They're the ones that you see flying around, and they're really pretty, and they're just like these little teeny tiny white little butterflies. Those are the ones that are eating your petunias, and those are the ones that are making it so that you don't get blooms. So if we don't spray BT, those guys come through. They're called budworm, and they eat all of the buds off of my petunias, and then I have no flowers on my petunias, and it's really annoying. So we spray every single week. It kills the caterpillars once they eat it, and you want to spray it in the evening time, and we buy it in a concentrate, and then we just spray it. It's most affordable if you can do it in a concentrate, and just follow the instructions on the back. That's all I can say, is just follow the instructions on the back to the container that you're mixing. And I just picked these ones up 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, and I can see some caterpillar damage right here. See that? So somebody's coming through and somebody is eating petunias. So it looks like they're starting to eat the side of that. So there's a good chance that there's a budworm somewhere in here. And it makes me think that there is, because there's a hole right here of no blooms, where the rest of this, there's not really any holes. One thing I will say that I really like about Proven Winners petunias is they do this thing called burying their dead. So you can see this like flush of blooms here, and you can see right underneath it, see how there's blooms coming? So there's more blooms that are they're forming right underneath, and when they open, they'll open right on top of these ones. And so these ones opened on top of this dead bloom right here. So you'd really rarely see dead blooms. They just bury them, so they bloom continuously on top of their old blooms. So we're gonna take these up front and get these planted. Look at this. These guys are probably so ready to get out of these containers. These are probably the best looking petunias I've picked up. So we're up front because that's where these are gonna go, and the lighting is not great. So I would like to pre-apologize for the really, really crummy lighting. Let me show you guys how I'm gonna lay these out though. So I don't spend a whole lot of time up in the front yard. We tend to spend most of our time in the backyard. So the front yard, I would really like it to just be low-key, hands-off, low maintenance. So we're gonna do petunias up here. So I have 7 of the Superunia Vista Bubblegum. And so my plan is to do 1, 2, 3, 4, I think, in this bed. And then the other 3 are going to go in this bed right here. We'll go 1, 2, 3. So this is the front of the house. And then, I mean, I'm probably gonna get questions, so we're gonna do a little tour. This is the Superunia Sparkling Amethyst right here. And then I also have a bubblegum tucked in here, but it's being swallowed by the verbena, and these wintered over for me last year. And then same thing in this container, so you can see the bubblegum. This one obviously is able to put up a little bit more of a fight. And so this is bubblegum, which, see how good that looks? And this is one plant that's in here and one plant that's in here. And these two just do absolutely amazing. And then the topiary that are in here, these are Eugenia topiary. And then the rose that's over here, this is such a pretty rose. This is called Eden Climber. And she looks a little rough right now because we had a hailstorm and it got really, really cold. And so like some of the blooms got totally beat up around the edge, which is such a bummer because it kind of got hit with like a little bit of a frost. So, I mean, you can see that's all hail damage right there, which is such a bummer. But she'll finish this flush of blooms and then she'll send out another flush of blooms. But Eden Climber Rose is so pretty. And if you want to grow like a really nice climbing rose, this is definitely one to grow. It's got a couple canes in here and then we train them to go across. But I think it'd be so stunning to have 3 of the Superunia Vista bubblegums. They'll just do so well right here. And then over here, actually, okay, because I'm gonna get questions. We're growing a Superunia Vista bubblegum over the arbor right here. This is 1 plant per pot up there, and they're doing so well. I'm impressed. Very, very, very impressed with these guys. And then in here, this is also 1 plant. I've got 3 window boxes in here, and that is 1 Superunia Vista bubblegum per windowsill in here. Oh, there's Brent. Do you want to say hi? He's gonna run. So we've got 1 plant per pot there, and I don't know why, but that one always does worse than these 2 containers here. And then I need to come in and I'm going to clean up all of this down here. That is some self-seeded alyssum. We're going to pull it. These right here are some oxalis that should not be here. I planted in the ground many, many years ago, and it did this, and lots of weeds. Like I said, we don't spend much time in here. We just walk past it. We go hang out in the backyard. And then the tiara, the blue tiara, is gonna go down here because they stay smaller. I thought about doing bubblegum in this bed, but it just gets too much and it would impede in the walkway way too much. I've done bubblegum here in the past and it was stunning, but you couldn't, we ended up just not using this walkway. And so it's already a very narrow walkway, and we do need the walkway to work. So I think these will be perfect, and I'm going to use all of them in this bed here. And so it'll just be a nice little pop of blue. Something unexpected, I think. And then up here, I need to pull these weeds also. Isn't this insane? So this all that's you're seeing, like pretty much everything that you're seeing right here, this is Verbena bonariensis. I grew Verbena bonariensis here 2 years ago, I think. I don't think I grew it last year. I think it was 2 years ago. And this year, all of the little seedlings decided to come up. So I don't really want to keep any of it. So I'm just gonna get in here and we're gonna pull all of this. I mean, if I wanted to keep some of it, I guess I could, but I have zero desire to. And then there is, of course, the occasional really tall weed. So we're gonna get all of these pulled really quickly, weed this area, weed that area, and then we can get to planting. Okay, the petunias are planted in the very front. That is going to be so pretty when those fill in. And I think it'll be just kind of like unexpected because there's going to be so much pink up here. So I think this will be a lot of fun. And I did go in and I did give these guys just a little extra fertilizer while I had my fertilizer can out. I'm out of fertilizer, so I'm going to have to refill that before we move on to the next petunias. But I love this. We do have drip tubing that runs here. So we have irrigation that runs here on this side. And then that's how this all gets water. And then it is solid tubing here with no emitters because the window box kind of overflows a little bit. And so that window box waters these guys down here. And then it goes to the brown that has emitters. And that's how those two will be getting irrigation. So I'm going to refill my bucket so we can get the bubblegum planted in the front really quick now that that's all weeded also. And then I think this is where we say goodbye because that was amazing. He's right there. He's right there. He's hiding. Anyways, I'm going to go refill my bucket and then we'll get to planting. And we're planted. What you're saying big and showy is what was already planted. But what I planted will eventually do that. Actually, it should probably start doing that in the next couple weeks, which is going to be very exciting. It's going to be warm now, thank goodness. And then these are going to get fertilizer. They should be happy. They're in the ground. They're going to get regular water rather than in their nursery cans where we have to water them and a day or two might get missed here and there. Let me turn the camera around and show you how good everything looks. So we'll start off with the fact that I did trim the topiaries that are in here. They needed that haircut so badly. That little machine that I used, I bought it this winter time or the fall time actually, and it was fabulous. I have not charged it once since I pulled it out of the box. It's the same battery that it came with, so I haven't charged it at all, which is amazing. It's got really good life on it. It's probably not great for somebody with like mobility issues in their hands because you have to hold the trigger down the entire time, but it is a really great little piece. Like, it does some really fabulous shaping. So the petunias, there's one tucked in there. That one's going to be a little shaded, but it does get full sun in this area. So once it kind of like creeps out and fills out that area, it'll be happy. these will come into the driveway. I am fully anticipating them coming all the way out and losing probably at least a foot of driveway space. Won't bother me any. That's fine by me for the amount of blooms and color that we're going to get. So this is going to be all that pink right there. All of that is going to be that color. And then same thing over on this side here. I'm really excited for these ones. I do try to make sure that these guys get plenty enough water. So there's drip tubing running in here, and then this one actually has 2 emitters ran to it. So we're gonna come through and we're gonna kind of finesse to make sure that everybody is getting ample water. These guys are pretty thirsty and they're very hungry. They're petunias, they're kind of a high maintenance plant, but I do truly think that it is worth it for the amount of blooms that you get. I mean, we're this early in the season, and the show that just those ones right there I put on has been amazing. And then that unexpected little pop of blue, it's kind of a lot of pop of blue. It's very purple in person, but it's very blue on camera. Actually, I think it looks more realistic now. That's definitely more along the lines of what it looks like. Okay, ignore our paint job on the side of our house, okay? We all have ugly problems. Anyways, those look fabulous. They're planted very close together because they're just Superunias. They're not Superunia Vistas. So they're not going to do what Vistas do, which a bubblegum, that's a Vista. And Vistas just have so much vigor in them. The regular petunias, they get to a really good size and they have ample blooms and they bloom a ton, and they're amazing plants. They just don't have the size of the Vistas. But that is going to be so pretty, having that just be like kind of like an electric blue purple color. It's really pretty. The pink will definitely steal the show, but I think that that'll be kind of an unexpected little pop of color. So I'm happy with how it turned out up here. I think it's going to be so pretty when everything starts to fill out. Give me like 2 weeks and I'll give you guys an update, maybe 3 weeks. I'll give you guys a full update on how everything is filled in. These were planted, I think, a month ago at this point, so not that long ago. So thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me in the front garden today, a place that we don't typically hang out a whole lot. It was exciting to be up here. It's exciting to have this done. I have no plans for anything else happening up here as of now. That could always change. I reserve the right to change my mind. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for coming planting with me. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.